My name is Susan McKenzie. I'm a student at Post University in Waterbury, Connecticut, and I'm a political activist and an environmentalist. I'm here today to speak to you about the dangers in the Pacific Ocean. I'm not talking about great white sharks. I'm talking about radiation. Let's take a look. Enjoy these pictures, because this type of life will not exist in another 5 years. The radiation coming from the Fukushima meltdown has entered the Pacific Ocean at a huge amount and is killing off all of the wildlife. This will eventually affect us. This is a picture of Fukushima Daiichi before the tidal wave and earthquake hit. This is a picture of it afterwards. You can see the devastation in this plant. The earthquake itself did quite a bit of damage, but the tidal wave is what really destroyed it. The tidal wave the water entered the plant, destroying all the electrical power. The electrical power is needed to pump water into the reactors to keep them cool. If there's no water going into the reactors overheat and melt down. And this is exactly what has happened at Fukushima with 3 of the reactors and possibly 4. This is another picture of the damage done to the Fukushima plant. The reactors require 1 million gallons per minute of water to keep them cool. When the water does not go through the plant, like I said, the reactor pools, the water becomes so hot it all evaporates, exposing the rods and exposing the radiation. Here's another picture of the meltdown and the fires that ensued afterwards. The cooling pools on top of the reactors are used for the spent fuel rods. Those are the reactors that have caught fire. Without a constant water supply, the heat from the fuel rods evaporates the water in the cooling pools and the radioactive rods melt. The melted radioactive rods and fuel settles at the bottom of the containment vessel and then melts through the bottom of the vessel into the earth and has gone into the Pacific Ocean. 300 to 400 tons of radioactive water is now being dumped into the Pacific Ocean every day. This has been going on for almost 3.5 years. That's a lot of radiation. And the result is dead animals, dead fish. 98% of the Pacific Ocean floor off the coast of California is covered with dead animals. Before Fukushima, it was only 1%. So what happens to sea life is going to happen to you. Exposure to any amount of radiation is dangerous and it's cumulative. Once you are exposed, it is always with you. It does not go away. The more exposure you have, the greater the chances are of getting cancer or of your children having birth defects. Stop eating Pacific seafood. If you don't know where it comes from, don't eat it. It's not worth the risk. Tuna have tested, the bluefin tuna in the Pacific Ocean have tested 100% positive for radiation. The birth defects from radiation exposure are startling. The photographs that I'm about to show you are going to bother you, and it's something you'll never forget. These are babies from Fallujah. During the Iraq War, the United States used uranium. They used uranium in their weapons, and the radiation has caused birth defects. 80% of the babies in Fallujah are being born with these birth defects. It is now to the point where the women are being told not to have babies. Is this the future that we want to see? These are all caused by depleted uranium, which is used to build weapons. Babies are born with no brains. These babies only live a day if they're lucky. And we've had 25 cases of this in Washington State over the past 2 years. 25 cases of babies being born with no brains. Surfers are walking dead men. If you go into the Pacific Ocean, you're even getting more exposure. Within 5 years, you can develop thyroid cancer, testicular cancer, and depending on the level of radiation exposure, it can be even in less time. Right now, children in Fukushima and in Japan are developing thyroid cancer at a very high rate. Stop going to the beaches. As you can see here in this photograph, this is the radioactivity level at this beach, and this is a beach in California. It is a very high level, and the levels are increasing daily. It's very important to stay away from the beaches. Fukushima is here. It's here in the United States. It's all along the Pacific coast, from Alaska all the way down through British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California, all the way down through South America. Remember that you cannot see, feel, taste, or smell radiation. It's a silent killer. And any amount of radiation exposure is dangerous. Stop eating Pacific seafood and stop going to the beaches. Thank you.